wanted to write a book for children. I worked a lot with children, also at schools. I coached a lot of children. I coach parents a lot, and I also work with corporate, and I teach stress management. I teach team building and so forth. But it all starts when we're really young, and what we see is that emotional resilience is really quite a big issue at the moment for children. They don't know how to cope with the fast changes they're going through at the moment, and they're bombarded with such news that is not so positive. We hear about all the wars that are going on in the world, all the pollution that's happening, and so forth. But what do we equip them with to cope with all this? Well, for me, change has always been happening on this planet. One thing in life is certain, and that is change. But how we go about with change, that is really important. That we need to share with our children. And I have children myself, I'm a grandmother, and it's wonderful to see how they cope with change. And it's not always been easy, but they are resilient, and much more resilient perhaps than they thought they'd ever were. But now we find, when we see children, they find it really hard to cope with these things, and they actually suffer from a lot of stress. So I thought, right, I need to do something also about this. Many people are doing wonderful things. I train people and teachers in how to build emotional resilience with children. I thought, what if I write a book? And then we can start. And when parents are reading this, or caretakers, or grandparents, or aunties, or whoever is going to read the story to them, if they don't want to read it themselves, or because children love listening to stories, what can I write about? And not only the parents or the children will learn something, but the parents and the people who are reading will also learn something about it, about themselves as well. So I wrote a book about a polar bear, Norah. You might know about it. Actually, I'm going to put my glass off because it's reflecting, and I don't need them right now. But I'm going to need them, and I'm going to read a little bit about this book, about the story about Norah and Marcin. Why did I write it? It's a story about love, a friendship between a polar bear and a boy who heard about Nora's story. And how did he hear about it? He could actually hear her talk with his mind. And we called him a polar bear whisperer. Norah went through quite a lot of hardship because of the North Pole, that it's melting very, very fast. And of course, some say, yeah, that is what the planet does. It goes through cycles. Yes, indeed. And sometimes what we humans do speeds it up a little bit. So we need to really be mindful of how we go about with this. I have my own ideas around this. And I think a lot of things are happening in politics at the moment as well, that are putting maybe a little light on things that I think it shouldn't. But there's a lot of things going on at the moment, and I think with the climate change movement that is happening, yes, we need to look at things, how we can improve things. But I also think a lot of people are being penalized who are actually, but I'm not sure if that's the real agenda. But that's my own belief. With all that, I do feel that we can become more mindful. We can become more mindful about how we go about with our water, how we go about with our earth, and so forth. So what do we do? Well, I come from a country in the Netherlands where there's a lot of water, and we really need to be friendly with water, because our level of water is really, we're mostly under the sea level in our country. So there is, through ages, there has been a huge relationship with water. But how am I treating the water? What do I put in the water? Because what I'm putting in the water is affecting someone else who maybe wants to drink that water later. So we can be more mindful. Do I really need to let that tap run for a very long time, and so forth? So it's just little things that we can become more mindful about. And this is basically things that I wrote about in this story. I also have written about things in the back of the book. It's like some solution-focused inquiry and some reflections. And that is really looking at strengths. like for the first question, I asked you, what do you think about Norah's strengths? Because she went through all this hardship. But how did she cope? What did she do? And the next question I asked there is then, could you mention at least 3 skills that she has and that has helped her to overcome challenging situations? And then you can look, I also ask questions here, for example, what has been helpful to you in the past in challenging situations? So why do I write like this? Because in the solution focused approach, we look at strengths, we look at skills that we already have or that we may be not aware of, but others would see in us and that they can help us to go through the next challenging situations or the challenging situation we're going through at that moment. And here's also a little bit about what they can do to improve the environment a little bit in their own area, what they can do to take care of the earth, who can support them in doing this. So it's also about building friendships or communities and finding like-minded people who can help you a little bit with that. Because ultimately we're all social beings. We all want to have friendships and communities that we feel safe with and supported by. So that's really wonderful. I also want to say that in Europe, we have an area up north, near the North Pole, where we have some polar bears still. And I was once really lucky and blessed to have met a beautiful Sami woman. She is from the Sami people. She was from the Sami people. And they are the people from the reindeer people, the people from the sun and the wind. They call them as well. But they live up north, also known as the Lapps, the people from Lapland. And this woman, she was called Greta Huva. And she basically took me under her wing for a while and taught me a lot about these ancient ways of being, how to live in right relationship with the land and with all that we share this beautiful planet Earth with. And they are still not getting perhaps all the rights they deserve and all the support they deserve from the local governments because they are like nomadic people in a way still. And they are not really supported as much as they perhaps should. If you want to look up to that, in the back of my book, there's some links. And I really want to say that I was really inspired and grateful for Greta to help me about understanding the bear a little bit more. So she was very good at her storytelling as well. So I'm going to write a little bit or read a little bit about the book, but I just wanted to share this short video why I wrote this book. And it's wonderful. It's been used in schools, in projects. Teachers say some amazing things. Like here, Lorna Lee says, this uplifting book provides a refreshingly positive approach. I'm now going to put them on because that's a little bit hard. To addressing the challenges of climate change with children in a way that is filled with inspiration and hope. Claudia's captivating characters instantly befriend the reader, opening their eyes and hearts to the wonders of the world. Every classroom should have a copy of this book. It's sure to become a well-thumbed favorite tale as Norah and Martin settle themselves in the hearts of children around this beautiful world. Well, I was so grateful to read it because actually this is Lorna Lee's primary school teacher in Scotland. She used this as a project, this book with her children, and I can't tell you the reactions and the positivity and the inspiration I got from these children. It was amazing. We met on Teams, and the questions they asked and the illustrations they made, and they were so enthusiastic. So and Jack from that class said also here, this book was amazing, the best I ever read. And Lexi said, I love the story. I think children will love it. So yeah, and they were both 8. So, and I always say the children have the truth in their mouth. So yeah, that was very promising for me. And that's one of the reasons why I published it. So it's in English, even though I'm Dutch, but because it's I brought up my children in the UK, and that was their first language there as well. And my network is very big abroad, so a lot of English-speaking friends and family and clients I have internationally. And I'm using the book also to teach English as a second language to children all over the world. So it's teaching emotional resilience and teaching English because it's written in a way that is quite, I think, easy to understand. Wonderful book to read to your children and to your grandchildren or the children you take care of. And yeah, I just love it myself as well. So I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to make another clip where I read a little bit about the story about Norah the polar bear and Marcin the polar bear whisperer. Hope you like it. You can find it on Amazon.co.uk and Amazon.nl and on many other Amazons. But you can also go on my website solutionways.com or on consciousworldagents.com and you can find the link on there as well. Thank you for watching. I wish you a wonderful day. And just think of today. What can you do as an experiment that could bring some more hope into someone's life today? Just by perhaps giving a smile, that they have some more hope in humanity. And what can you do to just have a moment that you feel you have a deeper connection with nature today? Perhaps you can listen to the birds. Can you listen to birds here? I don't know if you can. I'm not sure. I can certainly hear their songs. So I hope you have some time to do that today, or just hear the wind or some water. And just give thanks for a moment for today, for this beautiful day that we have today. Bye for now. Thank you.